와인과 크리스탈입니다. 여러분, 화이트 와인 리슬링 좋아하세요? 우리에게 가장 친숙한 리슬링이 마주왕 모젤이 아닐까 싶은데요. 세계에서 가장 훌륭한 리슬링을 생산하는 나라가 바로 독일이에요. 근데 독일에서도 정말 탑 생산자인 군터록 와이너리의 오너를 와인고에 모셨습니다. 자, 최근에 가업을 물려받고 군터록 양조를 총책임하고 있는 요하네스 하셀바크 씨를 소개합니다. Hi, Johannes.
Hello, Crystal.
Welcome to Winego.
Thank you very much for having me here. It's my great pleasure.
It's my pleasure too. You recently took over your winery, right?
Yes, indeed, I did. 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
So I'm still absolutely young and new to this job. But
Yeah, very young winemaker. Tell us about your winery, Gunderloch.
yeah, thank you. So Gunderloch is a family estate that has been founded in 1890 by my great-great-great-great-great-grandfather.
Wow, so you're sixth generation.
Sixth generation,
Okay.
that's correct, yes. And actually he was a banker. He had lots of money and
Really?
less problems.
Uh-huh.
But still, when he got a little bit older, I think he was around 45-year-old, he decided to become a winemaker. Because he was a big fan of nature and he took long walks along our river. So when he decided to become a winemaker, he took an odd decision which people didn't understand at this part. He bought vineyards that actually nobody wanted to have. He bought, you can say, the poor man vineyards. And that have been vineyards that are extremely steep, right next to the river, so it means you have to work very hard. And also he bought vineyards that are complete on rocky soils. So you work hard, you don't get much grapes. People thought that doesn't make much sense in this time. So they pretty much thought he lost his mind and was throwing out money out of the window. But his idea was much more thinking at family can only survive if you make something that nobody can copy. So you work unique. So his idea was to get his hands on a very special piece of soil that people didn't understand at this time what was special about the soil, because for them.
Did you bring it?
Yes, this is a part. I'm actually not allowed if I'm allowed to bring it into Korea, but
Maybe not.
For me, a winemaker always has a good storm with him.
Yeah, good.
So this is exactly the soil which he bought. I took it off Rothenberg before I left.
이게 이 지역의 독특한 그 토양인데요. What is it called?
It's red slate.
Red slate.
Or actually red clay slate, because as you can see, it looks very much like a slate, but at the same time it's very soft. If you're strong, you can break it with your fingernails. And this, for me, explains a lot about our origin and about what we do, because as I said, you need a special piece of soil to be a good winemaker, but also as a human you have to understand the piece of land. It always works as a team. We cannot tell the vineyard what to do, and the vineyard as well needs our help to perform the best. For me, it's extremely fascinating as a winemaker that you understand that you are not the boss. The vineyard is the boss. So we turn around. We work as the employees.
Then shall we taste your wine?
Please, yes. They are open, so we can taste.
Yeah. First.
Fritz's Riesling?
Fritz Riesling, Dry Riesling 2015고요. 프리츠 리슬링 드라이입니다. 프루티가 있고 드라이가 있는데 프루티는 약간 달콤하고 드라이는 드라이해요.
Yeah. So Fritz's Riesling is actually a wine for us that we recently developed. Actually, I developed it together with my father. And his main ambition was, because he was a Riesling. Riesling is our heart, our passion. We grow over 90% Riesling in our winery, because I think that's a perfect match for the soil. And but at the same time, Riesling can be quite complex and complicated. So for him, it was an idea to create something like a liquid business card for the grape variety Riesling. And also for our region. So for me, this is a wine of time and place. It bounds together what we have in our passion as a winemaking family, but also what is possible on our soil. So it's a really good ambassador, but easy to understand. And this is the goal, that because German wine can be complicated.
Quite complicated, yeah.
And we want to make people lose maybe what they have in their mind, and when they maybe are not secure what they get. I think this wine is very straightforward. People can easily enjoy it and have fun with it.
Okay, let's taste it.
Yes.
Peach.
Yes. Very, very friendly aromatics. Very fruity, peach, apricot. Some citrusy aromatics, which is very, very common for our area. And always when you drink wine from this area, you get a very nice and lively acidic structure.
Oh, very acidic.
Very, very fresh, and the acidity doesn't stand singular. It's bound into the whole wine.
So, what kind of food would you match with this wine?
For this wine, we have a wide variety to choose from. So, I generally say for Riesling, everything that is not too heavy is a great companion. So if you have if you think of like a rich steak with a really rich sauce, that's sometimes where Riesling can get into trouble. But if you exchange the sauce for something which has more spice or more fruit, like vegetables on the side or freshly cracked pepper, that works amazing. So everything that has lightness and fruity texture works very good. Especially now I'm a big food addict. I like to experience different foods, and we just came back from a very nice Korean lunch, and I would have loved to have a bottle of this with me, because
really?
I think it would be very you also in your Korean food, I think you have very much fruit, and it's always also light. It's not a rich cuisine.
Right, it's not too heavy.
No, so it's Riesling food. It works very good in my opinion.
Even kimchi can go well.
Yes, yeah. I love kimchi. it's a great experience, and it has some strong flavors. Some it really it's very demanding for your palate.
Right.
And I think if you have Riesling with it really helps to bring out the flavors, and also to clean and to it's a nice harmony between the different. And this is pretty much, I think, a good differentiation between the two wines, because now from a more generalistic and Riesling-focused approach, we are now moving with the second wine to a wine where we say this is an ambassador for the soil. We want to make a wine that represents the piece of land, the vineyard, in its most purest approach as we can.
Okay, so this wine can represent your soil.
Yes,
okay.
Very much so.
All right, let's try this. Gunderloch, Rothenberg, Riesling, Auslese, 2002.
Yes.
자, 군터록의 로텐베르그, 리슬링, 아우스레제 2002 빈티지입니다. What does Rothenberg mean? Is it a vineyard name?
Yes, that's a vineyard name. And Rothenberg, translated into English, I don't know Korean, sorry, but into English means Red Mountain.
Red Mountain.
Red Mountain. And as you can see, that's the soil, and our whole growing area is called actually the Red Mountain. And Rothenberg is the vineyard which always has been in our family. So that was a piece of land that my great-great-great-grandfather bought when he decided to start a winery. And this is what is it's a complicated relationship like this, because Rothenberg is extremely demanding. You have to put a lot of effort in it. It's extremely steep, stony, dry, as I said before.
The color is great.
Yeah.
It's gold color.
Yeah, it's extremely concentrated. It's an Auslese gold cap actually, so you can see that by the small gold cap on top. So it's our highest quality of Auslese that we have. So that means this wine has been selected all the way at the end of the vintage with highly ripe grapes.
I see.
That have been infected by the botrytis fungus. So I don't know if you...
Botrytis fungus.
Botrytis. What it does, it's actually a very natural way of concentrating, because the fungus perforates the grape skin and the water evaporates. So you get a very concentrated grape juice with a lot of taste, with a lot of acidity. All the ingredients are just like bound together, very strong. And even so, when you taste this wine, it's quite powerful. It has quite high alcohol. It has strong body.
15%
Yes,
alcohol.
which is unusual. It was also again an extraordinary vintage. But if you taste this, you taste the sweetness, but you also taste the acidity,
Right.
the lightliness, and yeah,
I'll try.
that works. Especially with rye and Auslese.
향이 너무 좋은데. Could you tell us about the smell and the taste?
Yeah. What you taste here is now the aromatics are much more tropical, I would say, than in the first one that we tasted. So here it's much more dried stone fruits like dried apricots and dried peaches. But at the same time you get some let me say exotic fruit like lychee, and yes, there's also some gasoline in there. This is a typical feature of slaty vineyards, and for me a very important significance when you talk about wines that have a regional taste for us. This is a kind of developed minerality, I would say. So of course everybody talks about minerality in wine. It's hard to measure. Like, how do you measure minerality? You cannot say this wine has 3 grams of minerality, but you can also say that it's a very strong definition of taste. So when it's, you know that there's a lot of sweetness, acidity, and fruit involved in the wine. But then there's another component which we call minerality, which is when it's young, it's a salty. And it puts pressure on your palate.
Okay.
And this is very important because it's like a very well-made cocktail, which is a high science. You always mix the same flavors together: sweetness, acidity, and some salt. And it's the same with Riesling. It has all these 3 components, and especially when it's young, you can feel that there's a herbal, salty experience. And when it gets old, it gets this ripened aromatics that sometimes taste a little bit like petrol notes. Yes. But this is always a very important, the combination of all these flavors is important. You need fruit, and then you can handle these developed aromatics as well very much. And it's multi-layered. It's not only fruit, but it's fruit, and all of this comes together.
Okay. So generally, German Riesling can go light food, like salad or like fish.
Definitely fish dishes.
And sometimes steak.
And I'm a strong believer, and I want to convince more people to try that, especially with ripened Spätlese, because what you see with young sweet wine, the sweetness can be dominant. When it gets older, the sweetness is still there, but it's not as dominant as it was before. It has something to do with the chemical reaction within the wine, which stabilizes the sugar polymers. So you don't taste the full sweetness, but you get a lot of fruit and a lot of, it's just the wine finds its harmony, and then it makes it a brilliant food companion.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. No, it was a great pleasure.
Is this your first time to visit Korea?
It is, yes. And only very short one. I already learned so much that I miss out, and I need to visit, so I will be back.
Yeah. When you visit again, we'll make a winemaker's dinner.
Okay, sounds great.
Alright.
Perfect.
Thank you very much. 자, 오늘 이렇게 독일 리슬링에 대해서 자세히 알고 보니까 정말 맛이 더 다른 것 같아요. 느낌이 더 많이 오고, 여러분 아직 군터록의 리슬링을 맛보지 않으셨다면 이번 기회에 꼭 한번 경험해 보시기 바랍니다. 와인고에서 판매 중입니다. 자, 그럼 와인고 크리스탈이었습니다. 바이.
Bye bye. Thank you.